Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of After the Buzzer Sports Podcast. I'm Lee Jones, your host. As always, I got our co-host with us, Mr. Marvin Owens. What's happening, Marv?
What's good? What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. We got a lot of good stuff. I need to get your thoughts on today, man. We gonna come in your house a little bit and see what we'll see what you think about the Tide. But hey, we got some great topics today, as always, guys. Please like, subscribe to the show, ISF Productions, and After the Buzzers. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. We want y'all to take this journey. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Kalen DeBoer, the new Alabama head coach. I want to ask my guy Marv, is he already on the hot seat in year one? I need to get my Alabama people to help me out there. I have my thoughts, but I want to definitely hear what Marv has to say about this. I want to get the top five teams in the SEC. Top five teams. They're going to play a 16 game schedule. They're going to have 16 teams instead of the divisions, excuse me. So I want to get the top two teams. Top two teams play for the SEC championship. I want to get that top five. Shedeur Sanders made some comments about every team that plays against Colorado this year is their Super Bowl. Marv, I need for you to help me. Is that true? Is that false? I want to talk to you about that. I want to get the top five quarterbacks in the NFL going into next season. That's going to be a great debate. I want to get everybody's comments on that. I have mine, of course, and I'll give you mine. I want to hear Marv's, and I also want to hear you guys' top five coming into going into next season. Is it time for Tiger Woods to retire? Guys, we've seen sort of the slow decline of Tiger Woods. I want to ask you, the audience, I want to ask Marv, is it time for Tiger to start to plan his exit? I want to get y'all's comments on that. And then finally, I want to get your thoughts on Jaylon Brown's comments. He was courtside at one of Bronny James' games earlier in the week, and he made the comment that Bronny's not a pro and that he is only in the league because of his dad. I want to he since walked it back a little bit, but I want to get your opinion on that. One of NBA's all-stars, Finals MVP, making that comment. But first, let's jump into it, Mark. First, let's do this. Let's talk about yesterday, and let's talk about the U.S. men. So before we go to that, Cassius, let's go. I want to ask Marv about this. The U.S. men tournament. The U.S. team played South Sudan yesterday. And then I want to talk about the WNBA All-Star game as well. So, Marv, let's go with the U.S. men first because I didn't put this on the agenda, but I needed to get your comments, and I want to get some of the audience's comments. What were your thoughts on the loss yesterday? Oh, excuse me, the win yesterday. I call it a loss because they were 43.5-point favorite, and they only won by 1 point. What are your thoughts on the U.S. Olympic team, the men's team, and how they played yesterday? And is it a forecast for things to come in the future?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a forecast for things to come, but I thought what's always kind of hurt them over the past few years in international play reared its head again, right? The inability to consistently rebound, the inability to get stops defensively. I know they've only been together for 2 weeks, and we got to take that into consideration. And it's kind of hard to get up for South Sudan, and it was their Super Bowl. We'll get into that later, but it was their Super Bowl playing the USA team. So I think some of the things that you saw them struggle with, they're going to struggle with when it comes to pool play in the Olympics. They're soft on the front line. Rebounding is going to be a key for them. And will they be able to consistently rebound and bang teams like Germany? You got Serbia, you got Slovenia. I can't remember the other team that I'm thinking about. Canada is who I'm thinking about. France. You got big front lines. So we're going to find out if they kind of fix the bugaboo that they had with last time they were in international play. I'm not real concerned about it. They got enough scoring, but it's the intricals, it's the little things when you get to international play that are going to matter with teams that have played together for a long time. But I think the good thing was that they kind of figured it out. LeBron did what LeBron always does. He led that team down the stretch and made sure that they closed it out. But I see some holes. I see some gaps. And I think there's things that can be exposed when they kind of get into play with a lot more experienced teams. So I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion that this team will win the gold. I think it's going to be really, really interesting because there's some pretty good teams out there.
Yeah. Defensively is where I see the struggle, Marvin. Really, the defensive pressure on ball when they put what's the Boston guard Holiday?
Derek White. Holiday.
and Derek White, when they put those guys in there and they really pressure South Sudan shooters and pick them up early to keep them from shooting threes, that's when they made the big comeback. And when the other players are in there, the defensive intensity and on ball, Sudan was getting in. They was moving the ball excellent, by the way, for a team that's only been together 4 years. That was excellent ball movement, kick, and they shot the ball extremely well. But I didn't see the intensity of the United States team guarding, and that was my problem. Rebounding is an issue, and then the rotations of who you're going to put on the court in crunch time, and trying to figure that out. It's still early. They have a couple of more tune-up games, but defensively is where I saw the biggest issues for me. And Marv, they really South Sudan got wide open threes. I mean, they ball closing out when they were closing out on the ball, that was a problem. And so for me, can they play better defensively? And will they rebound the basketball? And the final thing for me, what's the combinations, Mar? I mean, Devin Booker was terrible yesterday. I mean, he was absolutely
Well,
terrible. And trying to give
Lee,
all those guys minutes, tighten it up, man. Tighten it up. Go ahead, Mar.
Lee, he look, he's all show. There's not a lot of substance to Devin Booker. I'm just being real. Yes, he's a phenomenal talent, but he doesn't guard anybody. He never has. He's never been good defensively. And I believe you were the one talking about they needed to bring Kyrie and they needed this and they got enough scoring. Their issue is that they don't have anybody that really can defend. And to your point, Derek White and Drew Holiday really came in and set a tone for them. And if they want to win this gold medal, that's going to have to be the rotation with a lot of Anthony Davis. Because look, Bam Adebayo is really undersized. When you get to some of these other teams, he's going to be very undersized. Joel Embiid is a shell of himself right now. I still don't think he's healthy, but he's not a banger. He's not what they're going to need international play wise. So this team to me was constructed with a lot of guys that can score, and I hope they can outscore everybody, every game. But it's not going to happen because you got some very savvy, older, big teams that know how to play. They've been playing together for a long time. I see some kinks in the armor. I really do.
Yeah, USA going to win the gold though, Marv. They can outscore, and on any given night, they went on like a 19-0 run, and they scored 36 points in that third quarter. I think they're going to win the gold. But to your point, Canada's going to be strong. Canada's going to be strong. France is going to be a tough out. And hell, they played South Sudan again, but I think they'll beat them by that 42 3-point margin the next time. But we'll see. So thank you for those comments, Marv. WNBA All-Star game yesterday. Team USA women's team played the other WNBA stars. I'll start first. My first observation, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, was how much more athletic the WNBA All-Stars were than the Team USA All-Stars. You saw when especially when they inserted Angel Reese in the game and they started to pick up the tempo and the defensive in tempo, and they picked up the ball. You saw a USA team just sort of wilt a little bit. And the pressure, the rebounding pressure, the second shots that the WNBA All-Stars got, and it just came to me. They're much more athletic than the Olympic team, and I think that's not for them winning the gold because they're going to win the gold by default. They're better than everybody else in the world as far as basketball. But I want to ask you, Marv, in hindsight, when you look at all of the WNBA players, did they make some mistakes on that Olympic team? What are your thoughts, buddy?
I don't really think they made mistakes, but what I loved was the dichotomy of the women's game. I think that you see that it's in really good hands, and a lot of people who gripe about the unathletic game of the WNBA, I think it was on full display the other
Yeah.
day, right? It was on full display how athletically gifted these young ladies are and just how good at basketball they are, right? So I love to see the difference in the juxtaposition between the two. Yeah, you're right, Lee. The USC team is going to win. They're just better than everybody else in the world. The world in the women's game hasn't caught up to where we are right now over here in the States. I think there's only 29 ladies that are from the international game in the WNBA. So the numbers are much smaller. The game hasn't caught up. So we'll win it by default just because we're just much better. But I think the game is in good hands. And I agree with you. Seeing the athleticism and the way that they were getting shots and they were creating and the pressure, it was really good to see, and I'm glad that the WNBA put on such a good show. I think it was great for the WNBA.
Yeah, the whole presentation was just great, marvelous, great job, Marv. If they played a best out of seven, the Olympic team and the WNBA All Stars, who would win that series?
I think the Olympic team would probably win. I think the WNBA would, maybe one or two games out athletic them, but size and experience does matter, and I think that it would play itself out in a series. Now, one game, that's a whole different scenario, but in a series, I think that the Olympic team would probably pull it out.
Yeah, great game yesterday. Like I said, the WNBA put on a show. The ladies put on a show. I mean, look, Angel Reese was as advertised. Caitlin Clark. The one thing I'll say about Caitlin Clark, she can run a team. She's beautiful out there running a team. I mean, she's under control. I love her pace, Mar. I love.
Yeah.
I mean, her passing is precision point on. I love that about her. And then all the people that don't want to give Angel Reese any type of credence in this Rookie of the Year race. Look at the energy she brings when she just enters the game, Marvin. It just picked up for me. I love that young lady. That lady, she plays hard.
We know. Don't turn this into an Angel Reese show. We know
No,
you
no,
lobby, you
I
lobbying for the rookie.
see,
We know how you feel
wait a
about it.
minute. See, you, Caitlin Clark, you just nodding your head. Yes. I can't say one thing about Caitlin Clark. I mean, about Angel Reese. It was a great show by both of them. I think. Look, a double in your first All Star game. We gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's go to our first topic today because I want to get your opinion on this, Marv. Kalen DeBoer, the new head coach at Alabama. I posed this question to Marv early in the week, and I want to pose it to the audience, and I want Marv to answer it. Is Kalen DeBoer on the hot seat at Alabama in year one, Marv? Because let me preface this by this. Look, he's following a legend. It's championship or bust for Alabama, right? He needs to every first year coach, even Nick Saban, has not had above a 70% win percentage at Alabama. No first coach in the last 5 coaches. Saban, his first year he was 7-6, right? So it's the pressure to win there, and if it so happens that he gets off to lose a game early, how hot is that seat going to get, Marv, as we go through the college football season? Holla at me.
I mean, any Alabama fan knows, and I know some of y'all out there listening. Yeah, you're on the hot seat. I mean, it's Bama. It's the standard of college football. I mean, we've always been the standard of college football. So anybody who takes that job, you on the hot seat. Your expectation is to win and to win championships. And nobody takes that job thinking anything less. You don't have time to sit up here and capitulate and figure out how things work. They picked the perfect person for the job. 104-12 as a coach. 104-12, right? 25-3 at Washington, right? Coach of the Year last year. All the Coach of the Year awards he went to. 3 NAIA national championships, right? 12-2 record against top 25 teams in his 4 seasons at Fresno State and Washington, right?
Keep going.
And the man coach, 24-6 record in 1 score contest. What does that tell you in 1 score contest when you're 24-6? It means that you're well prepared. It means that you can adjust, and it means that you're really good at in-game adjustments. That's what that means. And 12-2 at Washington in games of a touchdown or less. That's huge, man.
We're not talking about Washington.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because we're not talking about Washington. He coached a Washington team that had maybe a top 30 recruiting class the 2 years that he was there. He's going into a Bama team that already had a cupboard full. All the people that defected didn't play. And he also has a number 1 recruiting class. So I know a lot of y'all don't want to talk about that, but we got the number 1 recruiting class right now. So nobody goes to Bama expecting that they not on the hot seat because fans and everybody in Bama demands it. They got the right person. And let me say this. You talking about Nick Saban was 7-6. Yeah, because the team was trash that he inherited. You know who the coach was before that. So don't compare Nick Saban's first year and losing at Chattanooga, East Tennessee State or UT Chattanooga to what Kalen DeBoer has in the cupboard and to who he is as a coach. You can't say that, right? That there's
Well,
no way you can compare the two. Washington also went 10-1 versus ranked opponents. And you want to know one of those teams that he beat? Texas. One of the teams that they talking about is going to be so good that came into Tuscaloosa last year and won when he caught Bama, looking crazy. So
they
hold
didn't
on.
catch him
Nick
nowhere. They
Saban,
whooped them at
Nick,
home. They whooped them at
okay,
home. Stop
fine,
it,
fine. And
Marv.
they still
Stop
make
it.
the play,
They
but they
whooped
still make the
y'all at
play.
home.
They
Stop all
still
that.
they still
All
make
them
and they
stuff.
still make the playoffs, Lee. So
Yeah.
whatever. So let's not act like Nick Saban went on the hot seat. Let's not act like Nick Saban had less than great coaches the last 3 or 4 years that he's been there. Let's not act like Kalen DeBoer hasn't probably upgraded in every aspect of the coaching staff with that team. Let's not act like that. Let's not act like he ain't got the best general manager in college football right now, Courtney Morgan, which shows in the #1 recruiting class. So yeah, he on the hot seat, but he's the perfect person to navigate this. And
Well,
Bama is fine. And all you Bama haters, go ahead and keep on hating because when the year starts and we start seeing this Bama train rolling again, you're gonna be looking like Lee look right now, trying to come up with something to say.
nobody's hating on Bama, but Marv,
You
first
all hate
year,
on Bama.
First year implementing a new offensive system. He doesn't have Michael Penix throwing darts. He doesn't have Michael Penix throwing darts and the accuracy of Michael Penix throwing the football and running his offense at Alabama. He's installing a new offense. And I think there may be some struggles early on as he tries to develop Milroe into a Michael Penix prototype, if
He
we will
don't need
say.
to be.
And
He don't need to be Michael
I
Penix.
think there'll be
He
some
don't
early
need to be
struggles.
Michael
Hey,
Penix.
hey, we talk about all the things that you said. It's true. There's a hotbed, and they had the recruiting classes. We don't care about that. Let me say this: they've had the recruiting classes before, and they've lost with Nick Saban and with DeBoer trying to implement this
So
whole
so
new
so
system,
so so I'm
whole new
so glad.
coaching staff.
I'm
I think there's
glad
going to be
that
some
you
early
said that.
struggles for them, Mark. I
I'm
think there'll
so
be some
glad
early
that you
struggles.
said that, Lee, because some of us Alabama fans actually know Alabama football and history. So you talk
Yeah.
about Alabama struggling. So will we agree that Alabama is the standard of college football or not? Because that's where we need to start the
Well,
conversation.
right now, Georgia is the standard of college
Okay.
football, not Alabama.
Glad you
So
said that. What's Georgia's record against Alabama over the past 4 years? They won
they're
one
the
time.
standard.
They
They're
won
the
one game.
standard. They're
They
the
won.
standard.
You can say that they're the standard, but if you can't beat the man, you can't beat a man. So they beat them one time, right?
How
So
many national titles have Alabama won in the last 4 years, and how
I'm,
many have
I'm, I'm,
Georgia won?
I'm
That's
glad
what
you
I
said
would say.
that, Lee. I'm glad you said that. Since 2009, Alabama 4 times, another
You know,
team has been picked up. Hold on, man. You asking me to come up. You asking me to say this, but you don't want me to say it.
okay,
So
please.
since
I'm sorry.
2000,
I
so since
apologize.
2009, Alabama has been picked against by the media 4 times not to win the SEC championship. Right, 4 times since 2009. Every year they won it. 3 out of those 4 years they won a national title. Name another school that has done that. It's not Georgia.
What have you done for me lately, Marv? That's
Yeah,
what I'm
well,
saying.
well, if
You
you
went
want to know
way
what
back
we,
to
if you want to know
2009.
what we,
Hell,
if you want to know
did we?
what we've done for you lately, then let me get into a lately conversation with you. Lately was a Rose Bowl loss against Michigan, where
That's right.
Georgia was not in the final. So if we're talking about what have we done for us lately, Alabama's coming off a college football playoff experience, and Georgia is coming off not only a loss to Alabama in the SEC championship, but not even sniffing a college football player. So that's what we've done for you lately, and we've upgraded in every position except for head coach. So we'll be fine.
Well, again, and all of that, I can't debate some of the things you're saying, but you're not. There's going to be some struggles, Marv, with a new coach. You think he's going to hit the ground running? It's going to be the
Absolutely.
Alabama of old, the same
No, I
structure of
don't.
old. He's bringing in a
No,
whole new concept at Alabama, and like I said, you Alabama people won't give anybody any chances. So if he loses 2 games, Marv, he's in big trouble. If he
no,
loses
he
2 games,
won't. He
he's in big
won't be
trouble.
because the new college football playoff concept will be okay. We can lose
Well,
two games this year and
you
still
might
be in the
get
college
there.
football playoff. So we'll be fine, Lee. Trust me, we gonna
You
be
might.
okay.
You might. Let me get
So
to
all
some of
you
these.
roll tide haters signing off on the obituary, you might want to pump your brakes because it's gonna be a long season for you.
Elliot Lyons, it's honorable to make mistakes and correct them. The guard for Dallas should be on Team USA. She won MVP twice against the Olympic team, and she's clearly better than Minna. I agree with Elliot. Sandra Keaton, I love her too. Reese is on the way. AG, Lee, you're on point about the new coach at Alabama. If he don't make the playoffs in his first year, he will be gone. Hey, thank you, Mr. AG. I appreciate
Well,
that. Tell your boy that.
he,
Tell your boy
he,
that.
he won't be
Um,
gone. I'm an Alabama alum. I actually talk to people at the school. He won't be gone if he don't make it to the college football playoff because he's built and infrastructure. He's brought in the number one recruiting class, and they're gonna make the college football playoffs. So all y'all out here thinking that Alabama's all of a sudden about to fall off a cliff. That's what you said when they was losing all the players. I can't hear none of y'all now. It's chirp. It's silent. When we find, oh my God, Alabama got the number one damn recruiting class again.
Well,
oh my God, they didn't got the best quarterback out of Texas. They didn't got the number one wide receiver out of Mississippi.
We need to talk about the quarterback they have right now, and can he adjust? We need to talk about the quarterback they have now, and can he adjust to Kalen DeBoer's system where he had a dart thrower in Michael Penix? And I'm gonna say this: Jalen Milroe is no Michael Penix. Let's be honest about that.
I'm glad. I'm also glad that you said that. What has Kalen DeBoer done everywhere he's been?
We're not talking about NAI. We're not talking about that.
Okay, you want to talk about Fresno State? You want to talk about the Fresno State quarterback he put in the NFL? Can you name his name? I bet you can't, but he played 9 years in the NFL. I bet you can't name his name, though. So what Kalen DeBoer does is adjust to his talent, what any good coach does. So you adjust to the pieces that you have around you. You don't make them fit your system. You fit their system around their skill, and that's what you'll find.
Look, again. DeBoer's a great coach. I'm not disputing that he's a great coach. I love him as a coach.
Sounds like you are.
There's going to be growing pains at Alabama. There's going to be growing pains.
This won't age well for you either.
He's on the hot seat until he proves himself. Thank you. He is definitely on the hot seat. Vincent Lyons, he's a very good coach, and he will build his offense around Milroe. He will have Alabama right at the top. Vincent, he may. I just think there's going to be some early struggles there. And let me say this.
You mean like Nick Saban had last year? You mean like Nick Saban had last year with Alabama when we struggled and, as you just said, got the brakes beat off by Texas and still made it to the into the semifinals? You mean struggles like that? That's fine. I'll take that.
They're implementing new offensive and defensive schemes at Alabama. And with the gauntlet of the SEC, I'm telling you, they're going to struggle a little bit. And the seat is going to get a little hot. I'm not saying that they're going to get hot.
I know a lot of y'all fair weather Alabama haters. But just to give you a little bit of context to what you're saying, they've had a new offensive coordinator the last 4 out of 5 years. So they've been having a new offense every year because you know why? Because we're the standard of college football. And you know why coaches leave? Because they go off and get head coaching jobs. So they changed their defensive philosophy and offense the last 4 out of 5 years. And where we've been? Winning SEC titles. And you know why they win? Because they got the best.
With Nick Saban. You keep leaving out the final exclamation. With Nick Saban.
104 and 12. 104 and 12. You're not 104 and 12, and you're not a good coach. I don't care where you're coaching. I don't care if you coaching at the YMCA. If you 104 and 12 over 5 seasons, you're a pretty damn good coach.
Seems like we've touched the nerve, but let's move on to our next.
I just got to make sure I educate all you fair weather Alabama haters.
It's along the same lines of this first question, but I want to move into this next question that we have. While we're talking about the SEC, Marv, give me your top 5 teams in the SEC coming into this year. Give me your 5 teams in order from 1 to 5, with 1 being the best, of course. Give me your 5 top teams in the SEC.
Georgia, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Missouri.
Okay. And is that the order you think that of the ones being the best? Is that, or are you just giving me 5 teams?
I'm just giving you the best 5 teams. That's
what I'm just giving you the best 5 teams. Okay.
Because unlike in other conferences, we'll play each other. Georgia come to Tuscaloosa in Game 3, so we'll play it on the field and we'll find out. But those are the 5 best teams in the SEC right now. Well, we'll be the 5 best teams.
Okay. I'll say this. Number 1 for me is Georgia. Number 2, definitely Texas, returning 16 starters, 9 on defense, 6 on offense.
That the board beat the brakes off last year.
Yeah, well, hey, they beat Alabama. They went to Alabama and blew them out. So, number three, I have a surprise pick in Ole Miss. Ole Miss, 52 transfers. They had 9 4-star transfers coming in there. They're returning 9 starters on offense. Offensive line is intact. Jackson Dart coming back at quarterback. So number 3, I have Ole Miss. Number 4, I have Alabama. Alabama's only returning 10 starters off of a team last year that you're right, Marv. They went to the championship, but 10 starters putting in a new offense, putting in a new defense. I think they may struggle. They're 4. And then my number 5 team is LSU. Marv, what do you think about my top 5? And I'm saying that's the order, and I think Texas and Georgia will play for the SEC championship. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think that your list is bad. I don't agree with it. I mean, Georgia might be the only team that I'll give you some credence to. Everybody's high on Texas, but listen, man, you can go through the Big 12 gauntlet when you only play maybe two or three top 25 teams. The SEC gauntlet is tough. You just said it before when you talked about Alabama making it through that gauntlet. This ain't the Big 12, man. So Texas is looks good on paper. They're returning a lot of people. The Ewers got to stay healthy. That's going to be the biggest key for them. They're replacing some pretty good talent in the wideout spot. So Texas can be good, but I want to see them navigate that gauntlet of SEC because that is no joke. I think a lot of people sleeping on Missouri. LSU, I just can't get with Brian Kelly, man. Brian Kelly, to me, is the most underperforming coach that there is in college football that people always say is one of the top five or six coaches in the game. I just don't see. They don't ever look well prepared. Even last year, the kid, the linebacker that they had one of the worst years. Perkins, who was supposed to be one of the top. Yeah, Perkins. Like, I got to see more from Brian Kelly and LSU before I'm ready to put him. They lost Neighbors. They lost the quarterback. You can't tell me that the quarterback, the Nussmeier kid, is going to be better than what they had. So I think Missouri is going to be the team to watch. That wide receiver they got is Hale Luther. The quarterback is good. They got great coaching. They got a defense that's coming back that's really solid. Missouri is a team to me that can wreak a lot of havoc. And Tennessee on that outlier because they got a good they had a good bowl game. That young quarterback they have is going to be really, really good. Hype will extend you and he spreads you. So it's going to be an interesting year in the SEC.
Yeah, Sammy Campbell says, Ole Miss, Lee, they always look good on paper, but when it comes to performance, they will always fall. And then look, Lane Kiffin had a very good year at Ole Miss last year. Ole Miss, look, they're returning 16 returning starters from their 22. They have 52 transfers coming in. Number 2 transfer portal team. Excellent talent coming in. Number 2 to Colorado. I like Ole Miss as a sleeper in the SEC to really make some noise and really push Alabama for that third spot in the SEC.
I've seen enough of Jackson Dart, just like I've seen enough of Dak Prescott to know who he is. Okay, I'm just trying to give you a comparison right now. So if you think Jackson Dart is talented, but I've seen him for 3 years now, and I know what we get. The biggest loss that they have was Judkins. Judkins lost that running back that they lost from Ole Miss. I'm telling you, that's a big loss. Nobody wants to talk about it. And you want to talk about all these transfers that's coming in. How'd that work out for Colorado? But we'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about all these transfers that you got coming in that you try to build rosters around. And everybody knows in college football, it's the hardest thing to do is build instant camaraderie and communication in 5 or 6 months. It's the hardest thing to do. So I'll pump the brakes on Ole Miss. Just like Vincent said about Texas, you got to show me.
Well, I'm going to read Vincent's comments. Texas is coming from a conference that can't spell defense. Let's wait and see on them. I like that, Vincent. Look, Texas may be coming from a conference that can't spell defense, but they have an elite defense. That's the key for me. They have an elite defense that certainly will translate to the SEC. Texas is big time. They're too deep at quarterback with Ewers and Archie's son.
Stop. We don't know how good Arch Manning is.
Ewers is a first-round draft pick.
Ain't no doubt about Ewers, but stop with the Arch Manning stuff, man.
Arch Manning is a great quarterback. If something happens to Ewers, he can step right in. Look, Texas. I'm rolling with Texas to be, and as Robert said, the top 2 teams in the standings in the SEC are the 16 teams they play in the SEC championship, and I'm firmly believe that'll be Georgia and the University of Texas.
I got to read a comment where Matt from LA said, "Is this an SEC channel?" Well, when the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 becomes relevant again, maybe we'll talk about them. Until then, we're gonna talk about some relevancy. Matt from LA.
Matt, keep commenting. Matt from LA, keep commenting. You have the right to comment. Look, the SEC is a great conference, but we get SEC bias here, and I have to. And thank you, Matt, for chiming in. I have to bring Marv and these and Alabama people back down to earth. If they think for 1 second that it's not going to be a struggle and that they're in a position to be better than Texas in the SEC coming in, I just think that's a mistake. I think Texas has set themselves up really well to come in, compete, and be the second team in the SEC. So we're definitely going to see. Robert A.J. Lee, what are your three teams from the SEC? Who are you going to make? I think Georgia will win. Texas will make it, and then I think the surprise team here, and honestly, I think Ole Miss will make a run and be that third team from the SEC that gets into the playoffs. I
It'll
think
be
I
four
think
teams
Alabama
from
may
the
be on the
SEC.
outside looking in this year.
4 teams will make it to the college football players from the SEC.
Okay, okay. Well, look, thanks for the comments. Y'all keep them rolling in. Again, like, subscribe, tell a friend about us. We're going to go into our third topic for the day. Shedeur Sanders, I want Cassius. Cassius, please play the clip that we have of Shedeur Sanders talking about Colorado and every team that plays it being their Super Bowl, and then we'll come back and jump into it. Play it for us, Cassius.
Of him operating with certain, does that sort of flow over to you as his son and being in the spotlight, as you just answered, that it's a different level in how you feel you have to perform? Do you have an obligation to perform at a different level?
It's been that since day one. I remember first media day when I was in HBCU, I said, well, we won't lose a game. I'm undefeated in the SWAC, so I already know what the expectation comes with. I know we're everybody's Super Bowl, so I'm really just, I always stay level-headed, stay grounded, because I would never want to be that guy, look back, and not being able to take advantage of the moment that we have right now.
In terms of...
Yeah, so Marv, I'm gonna take this one first, and then I'll let you come behind me. But great comments by Shedeur. And by the way, first quarterback drafted in the NFL draft coming, Shedeur Sanders. There's no doubt about that. Book that one as well. We'll see that progress through the season. He may be the first player overall taken, depending on how Travis Hunter numbers stack up, because I think Hunter has a great opportunity to be the number one pick overall. But I agree with Shedeur. Look, you talk about Alabama. The most watched team this year and the most anticipated team this year is the Colorado Buffaloes, hands down. They have more nationally televised games. All of the networks want them on their station. They are driving it. Deion is driving it. He's the most charismatic, and probably he's a number one coach as far as personality and people want to see in college football, hands down. So, yeah, every team, they're going to want to be Colorado. They're going to want to be Deion. And so I agree with Shedeur that every team on their schedule is their Super Bowl. It's their Super Bowl. And so, yeah, and they have the right makeup now. They built a brand new offensive line, and Shedeur Sanders is going to cut them up this year. So, Marv, I agree with him. I love his poise. I love his demeanor. And I think big year for the Buffaloes and a big, big year for the resurgence of the Buffaloes and Deion Sanders as a head coach. But Marv, I'll turn it over to you. Every team Colorado thinks that Colorado is their Super Bowl? Holla at me.
I mean, I thought I was watching the Saturday Night Live skit. That's what I thought I was watching. I thought we was getting ready to have Chris Farley coming in here with saying something kind of crazy like he did back in the day. I mean, look. There's a difference between everybody wanting to kick your face in because of your antics and wanting to beat you because you're a good football team. I mean, there's a really big difference. You know, Colorado isn't important in the landscape of college football. The daddy is. Deion is. But I've never seen it. I've never seen a team that was 4-8 get circled on somebody's schedule because they were a good football team. Even if Colorado doubles their wins and go 8-4, they still not making the college football playoffs. They got to win the Big 12. UCF is better than Colorado. Baylor's better than Colorado. Utah's going to win the Big 12. Kansas State is better than Colorado. Have you looked at Colorado's schedule? They better worry about looking for okay. So if you're looking at Colorado's schedule, you can't, with a straight face, sit here and tell me they're going to win more than 8 games.
I can get 9 wins out of their schedule and possibly.
You could last year too. When they said when he was bringing Louis, he bought 40 new players in again this year. Like y'all kill me with this Deion. Charismatic. You got me. Okay. Does he have the best quarterback in college football? Maybe. Does he have the number one player in the draft in Travis Hunter? Hell yeah. I think he's the best player in college football. But what else do they have? What else do they have?
They have the
best.
You
don't know, Lee. You don't know. That's the answer to this question. You don't know what they have.
They have the best receiving core in college football. The best receiving core in college football, hands down.
Lee, the hype is just it's incredible to me. It's incredible to me for a team that went 1-8 in the Pac-12 last year and beat an Arizona State team that was 3-9 and was tied with 15 seconds left to go in the game. It's incredible to think that this team now, as currently constructed, is going to be someone that is going to compete for a national championship. You smoking crack, not you, Lee, but whoever's saying that, you smoking crack and you sound stupid. That's all I got to say. Deion, we don't know how good a coach Deion is. We know he had great personality, but we sure as hell don't know how good of a coach he is.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that the transfers, number one transfer portal in the country, number one, do you think they brought in better talent this year than they brought in last year from the transfer portal? Do you think
all I heard last year was how great the talent was they brought in last year. That's all I heard. Now I hear they got the best offensive line. I know they got a 5-star recruit on the offensive line, but again, you bringing in a lot of retreads. So I don't know. I don't know how good Colorado is. Nobody knows. You building a team on transfer portals, and everybody knows 40 players to a new damn roster is a lot of players to build especially, and Lee, you know this, and anybody who follows football, offensive line is the hardest group to get cohesion from. And you telling me that a brand new offensive line in a matter of 4 or 5 months is going to gel enough for them to all of a sudden go from 4 wins to 8 or 9, challenge for a Big 12 championship when they only got really 2 proven players that you know about. I know you believe in them. I know you believe in them, but it's not logical.
So when you look at the offensive line, for Colorado, Marv, they brought in proven players that have started. 3 other players that they brought in that started over 100 games in college. Started much better than the trash that they had on the line last year, where Shedeur got sacked 52 times. They played
because Shedeur held the ball any quarterback in college football last year.
They played 6 one-score games at Colorado last year. 6. They were only they lost 8 games, but they played 6 one-score games with trash on the offensive line. The trash now has been swept out, and they brought in some new players. Colorado is going to be on point, and I agree with Shedeur that everybody is their Super Bowl because they're going to want to win so bad, Marv. They're going to want to win. I'm going to catch you.
Kids want to win bad anyway, man. Shedeur, a 4-8 team is not getting scheduled on anybody. They like I said, if you got a lot of antics, I'm gonna beat your ass because you got a lot of antics, not because you're a good football team.
Well, they're going to be a good fun. Dr. O, 40 new players with a question mark. Look, I'm not afraid of 40 new players. It's how you gel them. And you know the one thing that all of you guys who are talking about last year. One thing that you guys that are talking about the 40 new players, the thing that you have to forget, the Buffaloes have 123 years of NFL experience. Remember this about the NFL, friends. Every year, the NFL basically takes a new team and they craft it. That's why Deion went out and got NFL quality coaches so that they can bring in these transfers and coach them up the way they do at the NFL level. The method to its madness is there, and I love it. Sammy Campbell, Colorado has Jimmy Horn Jr. I love that. Sandra Keaton, I'm a big Deion fan. I'll be watching. Thank you, Miss Keaton. Elliott Lyons. I just hope to see this season that Colorado focus on performance on the field rather than performance with their mouths into the microphone. Focus on football and stay off social media. That's part of it, Elliott. That's part of it. I love that part. We talked about this last year.
It's part of it when you win 9 to 10 games, not when you win 4 games.
Well, I love the fact that they don't shy away from they don't shy away from the attention, from them having to perform. I think that's great. I love that about the way Deion coaches his team, and they don't shy away from it. They walk the walk. They have to talk. They have to.
Hold on. Let's be real clear, real quick, man. It's not the team. You never hear nothing from Travis Hunter. You know why? Because he a baller. That's why. You'll never hear nothing from him. He get on the field and he do his damn thing. That's what he does. And he'll probably be. You only hear from 1 or 2 people, and you know who you hear it from. So again.
Shedur's a baller too.
So again, we'll find out.
Okay. Great points. They say Vincent Lamb, please stay play football and stop by. Social media is part of it. Guys, have y'all seen the recruits? Marv, I remember last year you were talking about they weren't getting high school recruits and all that. Now the high school recruiting has picked up. Social media is part
They're
of
not
it.
even in top 30. They're not even top 30. They're not even top 30 recruiting class out of high school. You know why? Because Deion ain't going to be there after this year.
They use the transfer portal and they use selective
That's how you build a program, boy.
recruits. Come
That's
on,
how
man.
you build a program.
Hey,
recycle me. Recycle me. It's not hate. We need to get this millennial stuff off of here. When I'm speaking facts, it doesn't equate to hate, right? It just means that what I'm saying is factual. Facts are that they were 4-8 last year, right? That's not hate. That's a fact. Fact is that they went 1-8 in the Pac-12 last year. Is that hate or is that a fact? That's a fact. That's not hate. So we can't construe the definitions of hate and somebody speaking fact, and you just don't like the opinion that they're giving on the facts that they speaking.
Lot of hate. Look, Recycle Me. I agree with you. A lot of hate thrown at Deion and the Buffaloes. We're going to see it's everybody's Super Bowl. And the main thing is everybody will be watching. Dr. O, really quick. Well, I've seen Travis Hunter with his girlfriend on YouTube and social media shows. That's right. He needs to talk. Travis Hunter, the best player in college football. We're going to move it on. We're going to jump into this NFL real quick, Marv. I need you to help me out here. The NFL season is fast approaching. Training camps are starting. And I really want to dive into who is the top 5 quarterbacks coming into 2024 in the NFL. The top 5, Marv. And as we did the other top 5, could you give me 1 through 5, please, and not just throw 5 people out there? Please give me 1 through 5. Thank you.
I give you 1 through 5, and I only do winners. Like I'm not a statistical person. I'm a guy who likes guys that win and lead teams to wins, or put yourself in a position to be able to win championships. That's what I do. So I'm gonna preface my top 5 by saying that. So number 1 for me, which should be everybody's number 1, the second best quarterback of all time, Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that's even debatable. For me, number 2 right now going into next year, Matthew Stafford. Number 3 for me, he won a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl champion, so put some respect on his name. Number 3 for me is Joe Burrow. When he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He also led a team to a Super Bowl. Dak ain't been healthy too, Lee. Remember, he got his kneecap busted, so let's not act like he's always been healthy. So number 3 is Joe Burrow. Number 4 for me is Jalen Hurts. Remember, he led his team to a Super Bowl, right? Thank you. And number 5 for me, led his team to a Super Bowl, is Brock Purdy. Anybody else, I don't even want to have a conversation about, because you can't lead your team to nothing.
Oh my God, Mark! Joe Burrow was hurt all last year, so we don't know what Joe Burrow's been hurt. Joe Burrow's been hurt the last 2-3 years. Ever since he's been in the league, he's been hurt. So I take Joe Burrow out of the equation.
He went to KC and beat Patrick Mahomes. That's enough for me.
Jalen Hurts threw more, almost as many interceptions as he did touchdowns last year. So how can you
Super Bowl.
Matthew Stafford threw 18 interceptions last year, and these are the people. They went to the. I can't say anything about that. Sammy Cam, I do agree with you. Marv sounds like Feinbaum a little bit on his, but he's an Alabama guy, and Feinbaum's one, so we know that. Look, here's mine, Marv, and I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go into inverse order. So number 5, Josh Allen. Josh Allen, look, man, Josh Allen. 66% completion, 4,300 yards. Real high on interceptions. That's where I knocked him down to 5. 29 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, 7.4 yards per year. But he also had 15 rushing touchdowns. Number 5, Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills. Number 4, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua. See, all the people that sleep on Tua, it amazes me. 69% completion percentage, 4,600 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 8.3 yards a carry. He's just throwing bombs. Tua, my number 4. Number 3, Dak Prescott. Dallas Cowboys, second in the MVP race last year behind Lamar Jackson. Look, Dak, 69% completion percentage, 4,500 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, led the league, by the way. Only 9 interceptions.
Before you say the other 2, Brock Purdy had 31 touchdowns last year. He threw for 300 He threw for 300 less yards than Dak Prescott. He ended the season with a higher QBR than Dak Prescott, and he also had higher yards per completion than Dak Prescott.
My number two is Lamar Jackson, the MVP. How can you leave Lamar Jackson off of your top five, and he's the MVP of the league? And then number one, Patrick Mahomes. For everybody that didn't hear it, number 5, Josh Allen. Number 4, Tua. Number 3, Dak Prescott. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. And number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Please, 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 I need your comments. Mark, what do you think about my top 5 list?
I mean, you like stats. I'm okay with that. I like winners. I mean, I'm okay with that. Everybody on my list at least has led to a Super Bowl or won.
None of them have won one. None of them have won one.
Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, Matthew Stafford is an aging. He throws as many interceptions as he does.
We ain't talking about. We're not talking about. We ain't talking about age. We're not talking about that. The fact is, the man got a Super Bowl. He's got some of the best arm talent in the NFL. And you love to throw Dak Prescott numbers in there, but Purdy in 4 to 5 categories is better than Dak. And he got to a Super Bowl. But everybody out here want to say Purdy is trash because he don't look good doing it, because he was the last player to draft, all that type stuff that you guys talk about. What the hell has Dak Prescott done besides play 8 seasons and win 2 playoffs?
He's the winningest quarterback over the last 3 years in pro football. That's what he is. That's what he is.
About Dak Prescott. He's
a winner, and we're talking about the best
He's not
quarterback.
A winner.
We're not
He's
talking
a regular
about
season
the best
winner.
team.
He's a regular season winner. He ain't a winner.
Well, he's a winner. He's a winner. And he was second in the MVP voting. I guess you're going to skim over that as well. Dak Prescott, number 3 best quarterback in the league. There's no doubt about it. Let me catch up some of the comments here. Mahomes, I hate it, but he is so good. Mahomes is. The only reason, when you look at Dak Prescott's numbers and compare them to Patrick Mahomes, and I sent you this, Barb. You know what I'm getting at. And you look at the last 5 years, overall now, I give Mahomes the nod because he's won the Super Bowls. But overall, Dak Prescott's numbers are better than Patrick Mahomes. Those are just facts. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm not.
Wait, did you say you give Patrick Mahomes the nod over Dak Prescott? Like it's a close race? I give him the nod over Dak Prescott.
I give him the nod.
They ain't even the damn same stratosphere as quarterbacks, man.
I sent you the numbers in every major statistical category. Dak Prescott was either equal or better than Patrick Mahomes. Those are facts. Now, I'm just giving you the facts. I give Mahomes the nod because of the Super Bowl victories. You cannot say that's the only thing you can say. But Prescott is right there. Let's catch up. Mar from L.A., why are we paying that Dallas guy all that money? Look, what do you mean?
They're not paying him all that money. They've already made CeeDee Lamb the priority. They ain't even talking about Dak right now. They got to get CeeDee Lamb paid.
Dak Prescott is making $55 million this year. Irregardless, he'll be the first $60 million man. And Mar from LA, I just mentioned all the reasons why Dak Prescott should get $60 million. He is statistically the second best quarterback. I'll put him third on the list.
Hey, you guys, I hope he gets $60 million. Please, Dallas, give Dak Prescott $60
million. Yeah, he's going to get $60 million. $60 million is in his future.
Thank you.
Let's go with some more comments. Robert A. You lead the top 5 quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, the guy at Houston. Come on, man. You keep Bryce Young. I don't even know if Bryce Young. I'm going to use one of Bronny's comments. I don't even know if Bryce Young can even play in the league. I mean, give me a break.
Robert, I love you, but we got to pump the brakes on Bryce, and we got to. We also got to.
Joe Burrow stays hurt, and Jalen Hurts threw almost as many touchdowns as he did interceptions. So Jalen Hurts is out. 2 years ago, maybe not coming into this season.
And Robert, also remember this, and Dak Prescott doesn't win playoff games, so they all kind of in the same category. Don't let them construe the argument, man.
Doctor, I'm going to give you 2. Come on, Lee. Regular season winner. If you ain't winning the Super Bowl, you can't be great. Well, there's only one player that's won Super Bowls is Patrick Mahomes. That means he's number 1. So everybody else comes under Patrick Mahomes because they're not winning Super Bowls. Come on, Lee. You just were a coach. If you were a coach, you would take Mahomes over Dak. If I was a coach, let me say this. Mahomes, they're very close neck and neck. I really believe that. I'll take Mahomes right now. Dak's very close. Look, I would take Dak Prescott before I take Lamar Jackson, to be honest with you. But that's another story.
Hey, and Sandra said Dak and the Cowboys are a joke. And Sandra, Miss Keaton, that's exactly why the Cowboys are a joke. Because you got fans out there like Lee that are Cowboys fans with a straight face saying that they would give Patrick Mahomes a nod. They might take Dak Prescott over Patrick Mahomes if they was building a team. Like, stop it. That's why the Cowboys are who they are, because they got a delusional fan base, and they got people out here spewing this trash like Lee's spewing right now, talking about Dak Prescott and he won a damn game of importance in 9 seasons. Going on
You know
9
what?
years.
Look, the go-to about Dak Prescott, and I respect all of you that says he hasn't won a Super Bowl. I respect that. I respect that about Dak Prescott. When y'all say that, that's fair. That is fair. But when you look at play on the field, there's nobody that can tell me that Dak Prescott is not in the top 3 of quarterbacks in the NFL. You just can't tell me that. Now, if you want to say he hadn't won Super Bowls, Douglas Britt, thank you for chiming in. You say Dak Prescott is trash again, we got a problem. But to say his play on the field warrants that he not be in the top 5, that's ridiculous, Marv. Dak Prescott's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. It's a lot of jealousy because we're America's team, of course the Cowboys are, and you guys hate that. Don't hate on Dak Prescott, just hate on the Cowboys in general. So great comments, Marv. I like your list, but you had some people on there, man. One's hurt. One throws 1 million interceptions, and one he's got one leg out of the NFL, so I can't go.
You got one that don't win no playoff games. You got one that maybe won 2 playoff games. I mean, you got one that ain't had to sniff the playoffs. So I mean, we even.
Elliot, you say Mahomes is on a different level, a different planet. I think yes. Mahomes, the thing that I'll give Mahomes, and then we can move on to our next topic because I know I got some people that will comment on this. The thing I give Mahomes over Prescott, the clutch gene in Mahomes. I always tell the truth, Marv. That's one thing about me. People don't like it, but I always tell the truth. The clutch gene in Mahomes is much, much superior right now than Dak Prescott. That's where I say that they're neck and neck. But Elliot, I'll give the nod to Mahomes. I'll give the nod to Mahomes because that clutch gene and performing in the clutch, he has proven that he's a better quarterback at this point than Dak Prescott. So keep the comments coming. We'll get you on as soon as possible. Our next category, golf. Golf. Now, we all love Tiger Woods. Tiger is the man. He's one of the greatest athletes of our generation. He certainly is a phenomenon and still is. People still come out when they hear the name Tiger Woods. But Marv, I have to ask you this, and is it time for Tiger to hang it up? I mean, a few things. He's missed the 3 consecutive cuts. All right, failed to finish 6 of the last 8 majors. Since the 2021 accident. Says he's not playing now until December. He has played 26 rounds and 10 PGA events and 8 being majors. He's finished 3. He's withdrew from 3, and he's missed a cut in 4. Is it time, Marv, for us to give Tiger his flowers? But Tiger, it's over. And so I'm asking you this, Mark. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. And I think we also need to ask since 2020. I'm a big golf guy. A lot of people don't know that, but grew up watching golf with my pops, so I'm a big golf guy. But he hasn't finished in the top 30 since 2020. Like, I mean, let's just be real. And some of the official majors that we talk about, I just want people to remember the Tiger that I kind of grew up on. The laser focus, the aura, the fear that he struck into other golfers when he came on the course, and when he struck the ball, like it was unlike anything that we'd ever seen, right? I mean that level of domination that he had for so long, and who he drew into the PGA and made it so popular was like nothing that we ever saw, right? I agree, Matt from LA. I know you're a big golf guy too. He's still the GOAT to me. But it's hard for me right now. He's 49 years old, and it's hard for me to watch him labor on the golf course, right? Yeah. And it's hard for me to watch his body break down over, even if he makes the cut, over a 72-hole PGA event where his body just isn't there. Like he can't, his body is not responding to anything that it is that he wants to do. And it's hard to watch him do that. So it's hard when you played at such a level like he played at for so long and was the face of the PGA and the face of everything that we knew, and to now just be one of the guys, because that's really basically all that he is. And a lot of people talk about, well, Ben Hogan did it back in the 50s and he had a car accident and he won 12 times after that. Well, hell, there was only 10 people on the tour back then. Like the field, the field is so deep now in the PGA. You've got some great, great young talent out there. And the days of Tiger being able to dominate, hit the ball longer, pull off some of the things that he did, it's just over. And it's hard to watch it. And I don't like watching it because there's a Tiger that I remember and then there's a shell of what I see now. It is over, and they even talk about Phil Mickelson winning the tournament. I think he was at 51, but Tiger's body's just, just giving up on him. And I think all of us see it, but the greatness that he still has in his head still tells him that he can perform. Sometimes we tell ourselves we can still do things we know damn well we can't. I think that's where he is, but yeah, it's done, Lee. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Hadn't finished higher than 45th in any tournament since 2001. He's currently ranked 874th in the world. Now, a lot of that is from lack of playing also. But a guy I respect, Elliott Lyons. Yes, Tiger needs to retire, go out with all the pomp and circumstance that he's earned. If he keeps playing, the admiration that we all have for him will turn to pity. I think that's an extremely accurate and extremely fair comment right there, because it just doesn't look good. I mean, how his body breaks down every tournament. He's up there making all of these excuses. And look, he deserves the right to go out when he wants to. But I just don't like looking at it. It reminds me, for some of my older people on the call, Sammy Campbell, I think the air in Brazil is getting your mind blown up because he's not winning another major. You can forget that. But it reminds me, Marv, when you look at the old clips of Joe Namath when he played with the Rams. And you see him, limping in, and he throws his hand up so the guy won't hit him because he can't even walk. And he's still trying to play football. And I just don't want that for Tiger.
And we all know this, like Father Time is undefeated. At some point, and no matter what we do, it always catches up to us. And to watch Tiger at 50, 49, 50, and to watch some of these guys that are longer, they're sharper, they're healthier. Like it's just hard to watch. So I agree. I don't want him. I don't want to see him this way. I know it's hard for him to let it go, but he needs to walk away.
Yeah. Thanks for all the comments. Our last topic for the day, and I definitely want to get some comments on this and get this in. So recently, Jaylon Brown, his girl, and Angel Reese were at Bronny's one of Bronny's summer league games. And Jaylon Brown, I guess some lip readers, Marv, I ain't reading lips, he uttered the comments that Bronny's not a pro and that he's only in the league because of his daddy. Some of the things that you've said and others have said on this call, on the show. Marv, was Jaylon Brown out of pocket for saying that? 3 summer league games into the Bronny's career, was Jaylon sort of out of pocket, with the caveat of this? And let me throw this out there for all the people that don't know. In Jaylon Brown's first 3 games, Bronny was 6 for 26 in his first 3 summer league games. Jaylon Brown was 5 for 26 in his first 3 summer league games. I guess Jaylon forgot all about that when he made the comments. But Marv, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Was he wrong for saying that? And how do you reconcile what he said with what he actually done?
Well, he's an NBA champion. He got $300 million. Like he can say whatever he wants. He's a professional basketball player. So if anybody can make an assessment on whether somebody is a pro or not, I think it's a guy who's currently doing it. Not us who pontificate on it and have opinions on it. I'm gonna take the guy who actually does it for a living and sitting at courtside and says he's not a pro. You know how I feel about it. It's kind of ironic that the Lakers shut him down after two decent games. They decided to go
Well,
ahead
no,
and shut him down,
two very good
and
games. Two very good games.
they
Two
they were
very,
decently. Don't they
two
were
very
decent
good
games.
games.
But I'm gonna take the pros opinion. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't believe he's a pro. I've been on record saying that. I've been saying it since the beginning. But I'm gonna take the pros word for it. He said it. I'm gonna take his word for it.
Well, but let me ask you this, bro. Let's stay right there. So he says Bronny's not a pro based off of what? I mean, now he did come back
A
and try
lot
to
of
clean
things.
it up. He tried to clean it up, but his shooting performance, his
Hold on.
performance in so hold on, let me finish. His performance mirrored the same production, and I'm a productions guy. I'm a numbers guy.
Okay,
Mirrored the
good. I'm glad
same
you said that.
production in 3 summer league games. So how can he make that conclusion after 3 games when he sucked worse than Bronny did in his first
So
3 games?
so
Help
so
me out.
you know why Jaylon Brown has you know why they give him a pass with that. Tell me about Jaylon Brown's college career. How good was he at Cal? No, 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 no. You said you
Do what
just
they
said
say.
you said you all about production. You know why he got a pass in summer league? Because everybody knew what he was, right? Everybody knew what to expect from
He
Jaylon
was the
Brown.
number
You
2 or 3
can't.
pick in the league. He
Oh,
struggled.
okay, okay. My point is he was productive as hell in college. You knew exactly what you was gonna get from Jaylon Brown, and he had struggles. You don't know what you're gonna get from Bronny because his college career was pretty bad. We didn't
Quit
see
changing
anything.
the
We didn't see.
goalpost.
Well, you talking about production. You just said you like production. So if you like production, how do you like Bronny James's game? I'm confused because a game of 12 and 13 points, now all of a sudden you've seen enough to say he's productive more so than a guy who had 2 years at Cal that produced more than anybody that we had seen come out of Cal in a long time. Now all of a sudden he sucked because he had a bad summer league game, and Bronny now is so productive because he had 2 damn good games.
I didn't hear. I heard crickets of the people that were talking about Bronny couldn't play when he
A clock is
showed
right.
that he
Broken
could
clock
play.
right twice a day.
He came in. He showed what some of the talent evaluators and look, Jaylon Brown is a player, but he's not a talent evaluator. He's not a scout. He's not a talent. And the talent evaluators think that Bronny can play. So, but you dismiss. Yeah, he
Hold on.
came out of
Okay.
Cal. He
I,
came out of Cal, but
Lee, I know you. I know you
you
got a
do
phone
it.
or something around. Give me Bronny's final numbers from summer league. Then, since you want to talk about production and you want to bring up just these 2 games, give me his summer league stats. Give
Look,
me his
we
three.
know what he
Give me
was in
what?
the first three.
Nah. Don't do
We
that. Give
know
me
what he
what he
was in
does.
the first
Give
three.
me
He
what he
shot
does
40.
well, which is
He's
supposedly shoot 3 pointers. What did he
right.
end up shooting from the three in summer league? Tell me.
Game four, he shot
He won't
40%
say it,
from
people.
three.
He won't say.
Game four, he shot 40 for
I
three.
said, give me his production over the summer league. What was his
But
numbers?
Bronny was fine. He was better than Jaylon Brown summer league.
All right.
That's what I know. When Jaylon
Okay.
Brown came out, so you
Thank
dismiss
you, man. What college
everything.
career?
You dismiss Jaylon Brown's performance, but
Yeah,
you
because
critique
he's an
Bronny's
NBA
performance. Does
champion
that
and
make
got
any
300
sense?
million from playing in the league. That's why. Because he has production that we can actually see and base his comments on. So I'm gonna take somebody who's an NBA champion, who had a very productive college career, who was a number 2 pick in the draft, who's done all the stuff he's done. I'm gonna take it over somebody who scored 12 and 13 points in 2 summer league games. But you've yet to give me his productive stats over the summer league games that he played in.
How
I've yet
can
to
you
hear him.
How can you take his summer league performance over Bronny's when Bronny
I
had a
don't
better
have to.
performance and he was the number 2 pick in the draft?
Hey,
So
just
let me
remember,
say this:
people.
he
Remember,
struggled.
people.
He
Remember,
struggled.
people. This is the same guy who earlier in this broadcast said, "Is what have you done for me lately?" Right? This is the same guy that said, "What have you done for me lately?" So what
Nothing.
Jaylon Brown has done for me lately is get a $300 million contract, one of the richest in NBA history, and won an NBA title, and was Finals MVP. So that's what he's done for me lately. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
take his word over what you say about Bronny, who's had 2 decent summer league games.
Look. All I can say is, and Doctor, I don't think I backtracked on anything. I made the comparison, and none of you who all are saying this are not answering the question. Jaylon Brown shot 5 for 26. What makes that better than Bronny shooting 6 for 26 in a comparison of their first 3 summer leagues? No one has answered that question. Y'all are shooting comments,
It
but answer
doesn't.
the
So
question.
you think Bronny is Jaylen Brown?
I don't do
You think
anything.
he'll have a
What
career? Do
I'm
you think
saying
he'll have a
is
career like that?
Well, I don't know what career. He's only 5 games into his career. What I'm saying is, how can you bury Bronny for the games, but not bury Jaylon Brown? I don't get it. I don't get
Nobody's
it.
burying Bronny. All he said was he thought Bronny wasn't a pro. Nobody's burying Bronny. I've been on the record from the jump that I said he wasn't a pro. You could bring up Jaylon Brown stats. Okay, fine. I could bring up Bronny stats too.
Did people think Jaylon Brown wasn't a pro after his first 3 summer leagues? I think a lot of people started to think, what is he doing? He's terrible in summer league. He's only 5 for 26.
Hey,
that's terrible.
Victor Wembanyama was terrible. Do you think he's not a pro?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Give Bronny the time to capitalize.
So you think he's them? He's them then?
Well, all I'm saying is the man got better and better as the summer league came around. That's all I'm saying. Sammy Campbell, nepotism league. Bronny James ought to be in the 2nd-tier league in Greece. Come on, Sammy. He's in the NBA. Y'all stop it. Get off of Bronny's back. Look,
he gave for 4 games.
Look, Marv. Another great show. I want you to give your parting shots, your parting comments, and then we'll wrap the show up. Go ahead, Marv.
No party shots. We went over time real quick. I just said everybody roll Tide. You're gonna be really surprised what you see on the field from Alabama Crimson Tide this year. So I'm gonna keep receipts on all this stuff. I'm gonna make sure I keep this show because I'm gonna have a lot of talk to give when the season, college football season starts.
Yeah. Real quick. Look, guys, we're appreciative of all of you guys, your comments. We love the interaction. You know, some of y'all get a little delusional sometimes. They have to bring you back, but that's okay. We still love it. But please continue to comment, like, subscribe. Tell your friends to like and subscribe because this is what we do. We have real talk. And we appreciate everything that you guys do. Y'all quit these comments about Bronny is ridiculous. And we're going to keep following this. We're going to keep following this thing. But we thank you guys. You'll start to see more content during the week from After the Buzzers. We're going to start doing some daily shows to get more content out there commenting on the day's activities. But yeah, it's been a great show. Tracy Johnson, I appreciate you. I don't like that roll tide.
Roll tide, Tracy.
Look, thank you all. We appreciate you. Tell a friend. It's been another episode of After the Buzzers. He's the Hall of Famer, Marvin Orange. I'm Lee Jones. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Good night.